Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the zoo. The minion with me this evening, at least thus far, is Camel. Not sure if he found anyone else that's going to join us, but thus far it is Camel. Hello, Camel.
How's it going? And
Doing
no,
grand.
I haven't found anybody yet, but I'll try some other people here.
Copy that. And you might be wondering where the hell's Johnny? Why is it not Johnny? Well, Johnny had something come up tonight, so he was not able to do it. Asked if I could sub in, set everything up on this side of things, and Camel would be taking over the conversation and guess if there were any.
Uh, I'm gonna be
And by
honest,
the
I'm
way,
kind of a slacker, so I let time get away from me.
yep. And for those who, for some reason, don't recognize my voice, I'm Sanguine. Hello, all. How are you doing tonight? So you have a good day today, Camel?
Yeah. There's a day off from work, so slept in a bit, went and paid
Nice.
some bills because I got paid today, and
Mm-hmm.
now I am back to being my usual broke self. It's a fun life. But
Yeah.
other than
Watching
that,
that
just
money come in and then that money go right back the fuck out.
well, I mean, I was sick, so my check was a little short, but I got the bills paid, and I was just like, all right, the next one I should have maybe a little bit of pocket money, and if not that one, the one after that, I should be back to base level within at least one, maybe two pay periods.
Mm-hmm.
How was your day?
My day went fairly well. I did a bit of OT last night and then came home, dicked around for a bit, zonked out, woke up, and just been relaxing most of the day.
That's good.
Also, dealing with making dinner, which was just decided what I'm going to have tonight. So, just need to get some of that started up, but I'll probably end up cooking it after the show.
And you want to go ahead and tell the folks what was decided on?
Tonight is going to be shrimp in a garlic butter sauce with some spaghetti and caper berries.
And do you want to explain how the decision was come to?
I was going to have either shrimp or scallops. I asked Camel which one I should go for. He said that he's actually had shrimp, so shrimp. And then I asked him to pick a nationality. He originally picked Ethiopian. Bit of a problem there. They don't really have much food. So I asked him to pick another nationality. And he had had pizza earlier, so he settled for Italian.
I mean, Sanguine had me choose his menu Mad Lib style, folks.
Yes, yes, I did.
I thought that was funny. And
And
as
it is
soon as,
going
soon
to
as you
be a
said pick
good
a
dinner.
nationality, I was like, all right, we're playing on hard mode here. Let's go.
Like I said, the main problem with it is I don't want to make that spongy bread and they don't have much food.
Like I said, it all looks like paste anyway. It doesn't look like food.
Yeah, and that bread, the texture is ridiculously off putting. For those who haven't had Ethiopian food is normally served up on what looks to be a strange looking cloth. That strange looking cloth is actually bread. Here, let me pull up a picture of Ethiopian food so I can show you guys the bread that I'm talking about.
See, I see Della and Rotten in chat. Della, I mean, if you're free, come hang out. And I would ask Rotten, but I'm pretty sure he's at the gym right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what muscle groups he's working on, but I do know I've been reliably informed that every day is leg day. So
You have to mix up leg day and arm day. You can't just do every day as leg day.
of course you can, man. I've seen some folks who got tree trunks for legs, dude. They don't skip. Yeah, every day is leg day for them, definitely. Yeah.
Camel, did you forget how fucking huge my thighs are?
I've never seen you in person, Sanguine. I've only ever seen you from like, I don't know, middle of the chest up, like
True.
that one Minions meetup stream. So
I have thighs thicker than a lot of people's waists.
I mean, I'm kind of fat, so I don't know what and, and then also there's a lot of Walmart people I see walking around, so I don't know what you mean by most, but down here I don't think you could make that claim.
So average man's pant size is like a 32 or so waist.
I remember those days.
Yeah, I have a leg that's thicker.
Yeah, recently I had to like in the past year I had to start buying like bigger pants. It's like 32 is like I can't breathe. Like I can't do that. Gonna have to do some sit-ups or something.
Okay, so I found one example. I can't find what I was really looking for because actually, no, that's not Ethiopian. But this one will serve as an example of Ethiopian food, and it will show the mush that you're talking about as well as the bread. But this isn't as big as a lot of the bread gets, because as I was telling you earlier, there's a fair bit of this bread that is cooked up almost like it's a goddamn tablecloth. But it shows those. So there's a plate of Ethiopian food. It is a lot of very mushy things, but that weird brown plate, yeah, that's a bread. It's this weird, like, half steamed bread that has the texture of tripe, only worse.
And people wonder why they shit themselves to death.
Yeah. I am not really. Hey, Tier.
What up?
I got an echo.
Yes.
Put your headphones on.
Hold on.
You should do that before you click the button.
Sorry. I thought it was on.
All right, I don't hear it anymore.
But yes, that's what Ethiopian food looks like, and that is the strange, spongy Ethiopian bread that I like a lot of foods. That bread, no. That's just wrong. It's fucking weird.
It's spongy bread. Of course it's fucking weird. What's that yellow shit?
I'm not 100% sure what that yellow stuff is on that particular plate. Let me pull up the website for this.
Looks like eggs.
And it is... Okay, why?
See, I thought Rotten was in the server. I'm not seeing him on here to send him the link too.
Want me send the link?
Yeah, sure. It'd probably be faster than me trying to find him on Twitter.
Right.
So I'm pulling up the restaurant menu to see if I can find what it is.
Holy shit. Tucker Carlson had Alex Jones on as a live response to the State of the Union.
Wow.
I might have to watch that later.
That's glorious.
It is.
That's just going to be absolute insanity.
Just Alex saying a bunch of like off the wall shit and just like Tucker face reactions.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta make me a bag of popcorn, smoke a joint, and watch that.
I watched Sinatra and Scribe go through it. And
I saw that Monkey and I guess Jack were going live about, I don't know, an hour ago now. And was like, I'll watch that later. I don't want to really talk about the State of the Union. I haven't watched it.
Understand?
I work in a nursing facility. I see dementia patients every day. I don't want to see one that has the nuclear launch codes.
What? You don't want to see one holding a nuclear football? Come on now.
Nope. No.
And I figured out what the strange yellow substance was.
What?
It was pureed lentils with turmeric.
Why?
Because Ethiopian food.
You know,
just eat lentils. Why are you pureeing lentils?
Because they wanted them extra mushy.
Ugh.
ugh.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Like I said, Ethiopian food, not my jam. The bread is kind of gross, in my opinion, because it's really spongy and weird. Again, it has a worse texture than tripe.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, the whole working in a nursing facility. Like, I started off in the kitchen, so like we had to puree a bunch of shit for residents who couldn't eat solid foods and whatnot. It's the circle of life, man. It's just baby food. That is the consistency that you're getting with pureeing anything. Is ugh.
If I ever get to that point in my life, just put me down. I want a steak. I don't want liquefied crap.
Yeah, I'm also of the mind that if I reach a point where I can't chew, that's a sign I've hit the end of my life.
Oh,
Time to go.
My bright line is if I can't make it to the bathroom, like on my own, like if I can't wipe my own ass, that's when I'm cashing my chips.
Yeah, that is chip time. That's time to go.
For me, the limits are when I can't chew food and if my mind has gone. Those are my two hard limits.
Well, Sanguine, then you already reached one. Don't want to.
My mind is fantastic, and I can definitely chew solid food.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, Rotten.
You're friends with us.
Christ. That was a fucking hassle. I had to download the actual StreamYards app for this shit.
Wait,
Ah,
there's
there's
an app
two
for
yards
that?
pain in the ass. I did not even know that there was an app for this shit.
Huh?
Yeah,
There's an app for that?
apparently so. In that whole, because it, like, for some odd reason, it was wanting to slow load through Discord, and it's just like, come on, stop being a dick.
Also, I like how it looks like Rotten's now about to shoot to
Tears.
skeleton.
It's an undead off.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Rod
not
may be
the background music.
So
Rod may be an undead bandito, but I'm a necromancer. So
what are we working on today, Rotten?
It is shoulders,
Ah,
Nice.
and since it's not Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, there is no cardio today.
Very nice. So doing like shrugs and
Shrugs are actually more back than shoulders.
well, it's traps, which is one of the main muscles that really forms the nice shoulder that most people want to develop. So you tend to work your traps to get that nice rise from the neck down to the shoulder, and then you build the actual ball of the shoulder with a shit ton of other exercises.
Nah, it's shoulder press, lateral raises, I want to say it's called, and then what I've known as the Arnold press, and then I'll be doing some of the fucking face pull thing or whatever it's called.
Ah. Especially if you're doing mill press, which is shoulder press, mill press, same exercise, different names. I recommend mixing in shrugs because if you just do mill press, it can compress the gap between your shoulder bones. And the way that you get rid of that compression is you strengthen the trap, which then pries your clavicle up again.
Oh yeah, I do shrugs on my butt, chest, or back and bicep days now.
Okay. As long as you have them worked into the workout, that's good.
Oh yeah.
I ended up being put through a bit of a ringer when it came to that because I was doing mill presses a hell of a lot and ended up developing impingement syndrome in my left shoulder.
Oh, well, the real fun part is I do it with dumbbells. So the weirdest one is when it starts going too far back and you're like, oh shit, this is really going to suck.
Yep.
I can't let go of the dumbbell fast enough.
Yep. Yeah. There's so many weird things that most people don't realize when it comes to working out that if they don't learn them quickly, they fuck themselves up.
Oh, freaking deadlift is notorious for that for most people.
Oh, yeah. And there's a surprising number of people that don't know to start with low weight, really low weight, get your form perfect, and then also, when you're trying to build up your deadlift, start doing some rack pulls.
Mm-hmm.
Partial range of motion really helps with getting your max up again.
Yeah. Oh, with deadlifts, it's the whole thing. It's so easy to go so heavy, and then you don't feel it until like 2-3 days later. And you're like, man, I feel like I tweaked my back.
Yep. And it's because you started using your back way too fucking much rather than relying on your legs. Like I said,
That's a problem with a lot of people for freaking bad form, like doing bicep curls and freaking reaching or wrenching themselves backwards like they're trying to act like Shakira.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they want to activate their back at times when the back should not be moving in it. It should be your back kind of stays straight up and down and you move everything else around it. And another one that always pisses me off that people don't know, and I've seen people that have hit the gym for a fair bit of time that don't know what the fuck a suicide grip is and why you shouldn't do it.
Because it's suicidal?
Yeah, it literally is. The suicide grip is when you're doing bench and you don't lock the bar with your thumbs. So you have your thumbs going in the same direction as the rest of your fingers. When doing bench, it's called the suicide grip because if you're doing too much weight and you don't have proper control over it, that bar can slip out of the bottom of your grip because it's completely open since you don't have your thumb locking it.
Mm-hmm.
Ride right down your arms, slam it across your ribs.
Ooh.
And that's if you're lucky.
Yep.
If you're really unlucky, it's going to fold your arms backwards and put that bitch right into your neck.
Oh.
And a good chunk of the time, it slams into the ribs, rolls up, pinning arms up and neck. There's a reason why it's called the suicide grip.
Ah. Did I ever mention how sometimes speaking to you, Sanguine is completely and utterly morbid?
We haven't even started talking about cannibalism yet.
Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. Hey, what did I walk into?
This is the minions of the zoo. Welcome.
Yeah. You should be familiar with this by now.
I should be. I don't know why I'm surprised.
And hello, Johnny. Watching us from chat, I see what you're doing.
Help!
No, like I said, I didn't have much going on today. Slept in, paid some bills, listened to a podcast, and then I finally saw Johnny's message like, yeah, okay. And then I completely forgot about until it was like 9 something, almost 9 o'clock, and I was like, was I supposed to message Sanguine or Other way around. Oh,
And it was probably
shit.
right as I was messaging you, going,
Yeah,
"Oh,
like within a couple minutes, it's like, oh, okay, good. I got a message from him.
I have everything set up on the tech side. Do you have any guess?"
Nope.
You have any sanity? Nope.
Right before he messaged me, was like, I should probably find something to talk about. Didn't even think about, like, is anybody gonna show up?
Mm-hmm.
Then, did you hear Kuro Toriyama died?
Yeah,
we were
talked about that
talking
right
about that.
before the stream. I saw that right before we were getting ready to go live. It's like, oh damn, I know that name. And then I clicked. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, the mangaka or manga creator of
Dragon Ball,
Dragon
Dr.
Ball.
Slump.
Yep,
Technically, he did the artwork for Dragon Warrior.
he did
wanna
artwork for
say he's
Dragon
also-
Quest and
Yeah, for
Chrono
Dragon
Trigger.
Quest.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger, yep. He did Chrono Trigger. He did the artwork for another one. I can't remember.
Like I said, it was the other main one was Dragon Quest.
I have a question off topic. So State of the Union, I didn't watch it, but
Okay.
I was scrolling through Twitter and little clips and everything here and there popping up. When did we stop using closed captioning for deaf people and just start putting an interpreter on the screen? Because that shit is distracting. For
It is. It's
non-deaf
fucking
people.
it is distracting.
Also, the part that I find hilarious is with closed captioning, it was either you had it and it was right, or you didn't have it and it was just
To be fair,
fuck the deaf people.
to be fair, if they did closed captioning for fucking Biden, half of his speech would be unintelligible. Because listening to it was unintelligible.
Do you think having to hand spell that shit is any easier?
No, but still.
The thing is that we went from having that system where it was very straightforward, and since the speech is typed up beforehand, you could even have the closed captioning set up beforehand.
In sync.
Yep, and sync it up. But we decided, no, we're going to go for sign language, and we aren't really going to check to see if someone's a valid
I heard about that.
person for doing sign language.
I just remember as a kid, like in the 90s, in the early 2000s, like at the end of every program, it's like closed captioning provided by.
Sanguine, are you referencing the case where the woman was like, I think that was in Texas as well.
There's like 6 or 7 of them now, but yeah, there was one that was in Texas.
She faked her credentials, so she's on that signing gibberish.
Yep.
And she had this lost look on her face. She just making motions with her hands. She just.
I imagine
did,
like
like, the
actual deaf
same-
people actually watching that, like, what the fuck is he saying? What?
Yeah, she did like the same fucking sign for like 6 different words.
Yes.
This makes no sense.
What?
At one point, it kind of looked like she just started doing the hand jive for no fucking
They want to put
reason.
what and where?
My anus? Oh my god! Why are they checking anuses for?
I think the governor wants to steal third base. I don't know what's going on here.
Oh lord, that shit is ridiculous.
But yeah, there have been a handful of cases where that's exactly what happened. It was, here's our sign language person. And no one bothered to figure out if they actually knew sign language.
Yep. And they just put them on there with the governor or the sheriff or whoever's talking, and they just signing away.
Credentials are racist or patriarchal or something of the matter.
I started taking a sign language class in college, like my first semester, and it was like after the drop period, I found out, I was like, oh, they put me in the wrong class. they had me down for just like a speech class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I signed up for sign language. I was wanting to learn sign language, but then I found out it's like, oh, you're not getting any credit for that class. I'm like, well, then I'm not fucking going. And that is how I stopped learning sign language. I did take it long enough to learn like how to finger spell, but I haven't used it. So
It's like me in Spanish. I know how to speak Spanish. I just can't fucking remember how to speak Spanish.
I know mostly cuss words.
but the only thing I remember how to do like the finger spelling for now is just like my first name. That's it.
Asshole. Got it.
I mean, the one finger salute is universal. You don't have to take a class for that. So
I thought that meant fuck off, not asshole.
Tier was the one going through school. He's like, hey, man, all the Mexicans gave me a nickname. Don't mess with El Pendejo.
You think there are Mexicans in Baltimore? That's all I need.
There are Mexicans in Baltimore because of the fucking migrants.
No, those are Salvadorans, sir. You got MS-13.
No, those aren't MS-13.
I'm pretty sure I remember a story out of Maryland where they fucking like butchered a kid in a park.
I don't remember that. Then again,
That
I don't
sounds like
leave.
That was
Maryland, though.
MS-13.
Then again, I don't leave my
That was around the
house.
time that Nancy Pelosi was talking about how they had the spark of divinity.
You know, I'm glad I'm a fucking hermit. I will cut the power in my house. I will beat the fuck out of a motherfucker with my bat.
Well, I was telling Sang, I was like, I don't want to watch the State of the Union because I work at a nursing home. I see dementia patients every day.
Yep.
It'd be like going to work for you.
Well, no, like at least with the people that I work with, it's like, you know, they haven't been lying to me for 40 years, you know.
No, they've just been lying to you for 40 minutes.
Well, no, like, you know, like they forget the shit they say 5 minutes after they say it, you know, or you know, if they ask me a question. So, I mean, like I don't need to see the mumbling, stumbling, you know, all that.
So if you
shit.
had the whole thing where they're like, "What's for dinner?" when you go to answer, they're like, "I don't remember asking you anything. What are you talking for?"
I want beef.
No, I only really have one that is any kind of stubborn. The rest of them, like they're still, you know, like they have memory issues, but they're either, you know, just generally nice people, or if they want to try and get angry, it's like, I'm bigger than you. Don't do that. You know.
I will hurt you, and I
Well,
will
no,
do it
not
intentionally.
even that. It's like I won't lift a finger. You'll hurt yourself trying to get angry at me. Don't do it.
It's like, look, you go to stand up. I'm just going to sit you back down.
Oh no. Like I work in housekeeping. I don't touch them. Right?
No, that's if they try to put hands on you. You're just going to push them back down, being like, no.
No. I wouldn't even do that. It's like they're you know, tiny, old, fragile people. Like if I try to push like one of them, like they turn to dust. Like I'm not doing it. It's the same reason why I don't own like small breeds of dogs. Like I'm afraid I would hurt them. All right. Like
But
just
you
trying
don't
to
want a
give a pet
Pomeranian.
behind the ears and just like, oh, you know.
But you don't want a Pomeranian.
I just broke your neck by accident. Oh God.
So I'm gonna
You know
keep
what-
him and hug him and squeeze him and call him George.
Yep.
You don't want a yapper.
No. Nana Camel raised Chihuahuas for a time, and I don't need that.
He doesn't need a small dog with a small dog complex.
I mean, I you know what? I wouldn't mind a corgi. They seem pretty cool.
Depends.
Pretty
Some
kind.
corgis are assholes.
I mean, some
Just like
are,
people.
but
Yeah.
like my dogs for the most part they're pretty chill. Like, which is why I couldn't understand like the girlfriend. She always complained about, you know, like the dogs, you know, always run around. It's like, really? Because like right now I got two of them laying like on either side of my computer chair. They haven't moved for hours.
Yeah, blue heelers are like one of the few dogs I've seen that are super hyperactive, but that all depends on where their location is. And if the person they have like imprinted as their parent or owner is around. Because if they're not, that fucking dog is depressed as shit.
Oh yeah, like when I walk through the door, they're like, "Hey, where you been, man? It's been like 9 hours. Like that's a lifetime."
Dude,
But like
like 2 days.
I get in the house. I change into like my comfy clothes, take them outside, let them run around, smoke a cigarette, hang out, and then let them back in, and they're just like chill.
Mm-hmm.
About the only time they get up's like, I'm gonna go get a drink of water, and maybe let me back outside.
There are definitely hyper dogs. A good chunk of hyper dogs, though, it comes down to, well, did you exercise them enough?
Yeah.
Because, like, if you have a border collie,
Oh yeah. Like I never get a breed like that. I don't want one of the high strung ones.
So to use a saying that a lot of people don't like, in that it's kind of like kids. If they're not getting the exercise, they're gonna be fucking hyper.
yep.
Well, I also don't feed my dogs like a shit ton of sugar either, so that helps.
That's also true.
But do you give them a shit ton of Ritalin just to even them out?
I haven't had to do that yet. Although sometimes the bulldog makes me think, it's like, you know what? Half a Xanax wouldn't do you no harm.
Damn.
She's particular.
Ah.
Like her current thing is she likes to go to sleep, in bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've got our dog bed and like even like an old like twin size mattress, like in the living room, right under the air conditioner. Got the ceiling fan going, food bowl, water dish. She could live like a rock star in there. No, it's like I want to go sleep in your bed, which is like twice her size, like off the ground. And it's like, yeah, you can't get in that bed by yourself. And you practically need a parachute to jump out of it. You're old as shit. You don't need to do that. But she'll just sit there and yap until you let her go lay down in bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Again, it's
inevitably, like a couple hours later, like when she wakes up, I'll hear a giant thump from the other side of the house because she decided to just belly flop off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you haven't gotten her a special set of stairs yet, so that way she can walk up and walk down it.
If I had the money right now, yeah, sure, I'd buy her. I'd buy her like one of those fucking WWE staircases that they have at the corner of the ring. I'd play her intro music and everything when she gets ready to go lay down. I might skimp on the pyrotechnics because money's kind of tight, but I mean, other than that, she gets
You're not trying to burn your house down.
Man, don't skip on the pyrotechnics. You gonna go all out. Give her a proper intro.
We're not going out like Great Whites here, all right?
Shit.
See, if you lived
Once
in
bitten,
Detroit,
twice shy, buddy. Once bitten, twice shy.
if you lived in Detroit, you wouldn't have to skimp on the pyrotechnics. Just go out and
Just wait for
burn the
Devil's
house
Night?
next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Burn the vacant house right next to yours.
Shit, man. Look, this what
Speaking
you
of
do.
Devil's Night, you guys saw that they're remaking The Crow?
Don't remind me.
You told me this, and
Don't be
again,
woke.
This year, they still haven't stopped with the remakes. They're remaking. I think they're releasing a remake of The Crow with Bill Skarsgård as Eric Draven in June.
Oh God.
And then at some point this year, they're releasing a remake of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
And all of them are fucking black.
Yeah, they blackwashed the kids.
fantastic.
I didn't know every kid in the Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead was a ginger.
No, it's one of Christina Applegate's better movies.
Well, I mean, the brother, he was a ginger, the rocker stoner dude.
Yeah.
And it's been forever since I've seen that movie.
Oh shit, what was his name?
I forget.
I still say what they need to do is don't remake the movies that were already fantastic. Because
Yeah. I mean,
You're-
we've been down this road. I don't know how many times. Every time they release another fucking remake.
Yeah, go for one of the movies that had potential and just fucked it.
The
No,
Room.
I'm calling a
Re-release The Room.
moratorium. I'm calling a full moratorium on all remakes. No, like, just stop.
See, I can.
I
See
want at least a
certain
5-year moratorium. No remakes, no sequels. You got to make new shit.
There are some movies.
Good luck with
were
that.
And
really
then
good
and
premise.
then maybe we can adopt the remake movies that had potential but just were shit the first time around.
Because there were some movies with really great premises that just fucked themselves entirely by either having a story that almost required really good special effects and then giving the effects guy like half of a Twix bar or some shit in order to do them. There are movies that had really great scripts and they just horrendously cast everything.
Well, a bigger
So-
problem than that as well, Sanguine, is the fact that for so much, like, we want to do this live action. Yes, but you're going to CGI the fuck out of it, so you might as well just make it animated to begin with.
Yep.
Well, see, the difference between the biggest issue with live action is you can't get some of the emotions out of like Flounder. Flounder in the remake looks fucking god awful, but he looks, for a cartoon in the original, he looked pretty decent.
Yeah.
You can't get that.
I mean, when you're also
but-
talking about a character that comes from a comic book and already has a set look, animating it makes it so much easier. Then whoever's doing the voice is kind of irrelevant.
Mhm.
Because the character looks like they're supposed to, and then if it's voiced by a black guy, white guy, Asian guy, fucking Mexican guy, fucking purple people eater guy or whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The thing with it is that it's trying to take a cartoon and make it live action and keep all the visuals is kind of like taking a stage play and making a movie while keeping all the makeup.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. There's things that you do for a stage play. Your actions, your motions are much bigger. Your makeup is much heavier. So if you're doing a movie based on a fucking play, you tone down the makeup, you tone down the motions, because in a movie, you don't need to move your hand in a large enough arc that even the people in the cheap seats are able to see that you swept your hand from left to right.
You can also tone down the volume a bit too. You don't project.
Yeah, you have to project.
Everything becomes more natural. You have more normal motion. So when you're gesturing for, like, yes, go on, rather than it being an entire arm doing a circular motion, you're able to just roll the wrist in a, yes, come on. But, and the makeup doesn't have to be so shockingly garish. You can have very muted makeup and it still looks good. In fact, it looks better. Because, again, you aren't dressing, you aren't moving, you aren't being made up so that everyone can tell, even from the back. And the facial expressions don't have to be as cartoonish either. The movies are able to be much more controlled, and everything's able to be more subtle with a movie than it can be in a stage play when it comes to those.
Okay.
And we recognize that when it comes to changing a stage play into a movie. People will tone all that shit down. For some fucking reason, people try to have, we're going to make a live action anime. We're going to have our character move in the exact same way that the anime character did. What the fuck is wrong with you?
like Battle Angel Alita. Battle Angel Alita looks fucking god. Like Alita the character look god awful and ridiculous. She does not look normal.
She doesn't look normal, but that I actually kind of liked Battle Angel Alita. When it
I
came
like the
down.
story, but honestly the characters look with those huge ass eyes.
See, that was one of the things that I liked, that it was just her, and I think there was a couple of the other androids that had it.
But the androids could pass as human. That was one of the points of the anime. She looked just like everyone else.
That part was lost by doing the large eyes, but it also worked as a visual in the movie. If I can't remember, did they make a comment of she could pass for a normal person? Because if they did, then yeah, they absolutely fucked up. But
yes. In the manga, she could, like, one of the things is she looked just like everybody else.
I'm saying in the movie, did they make that comment?
Oh, I didn't.
Because
I don't recall.
If they didn't make that comment in the movie, then it became something that, yeah, it's a deviation from the source material. But it's a deviation that didn't really subtract in the movie. Now, it could have later on if they had continued making the series. But as a standalone, it didn't subtract anything. And that made it less off-putting. The ones that I was thinking of are the live-action Cowboy Bebop that they just did.
Oh, Lord Jesus Christ.
Where they tried to have Ed move like Ed in the anime. And it was off-putting as shit.
It's the same thing that's going to happen with Tiny Tina in this Borderlands movie or whatever they're doing.
Yep.
Tiny Tina, and she won't have the lazy eye either. But Tiny Tina has exaggerated movements because of the cartoonish nature of the world.
Yep.
And having her, if she does that, those cartoonish things in reality, it would just look weird as fuck.
Yeah, the only way that you could get it so that it didn't seem as off-putting is if you went full-blown style with everything and you did the Sin City shit with it.
The art style of it, yeah, but they're not doing that. And then they got fucking the Dwarf King himself, Kevin Hart, as Roland. He does not come off as a soldier.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Like no offense to Kevin Hart, but Roland was in the games. He is literally a towering not behemoth, but he's huge. And he's a silent...
He's built.
Yeah, he's a soldier. You can clearly tell he's had military history by the way he carries himself and the way he acts.
Here, the only character and the only two characters I can think of that actually make Roland look small are Brick and
Krieg.
Oh, God. Yeah, Krieg. Because they tower over everybody.
Yeah, Brick and Krieg. Like, it's Krieg who's taller than Brick. I know that for a fact. And not Antoine. The Gunzerker.
Well, the Gunzerker's actually shorter than people realize.
He is?
Yeah. That's why he's a tank.
Huh. Well, I played with Anton then. I never played with the Gunzerker. Sergio. Was it Sergio? Or Serge? But again, they took all the superficial elements. There's no Brick and there's no Mordecai. Why is Tannis this old woman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but
they will keep things that they shouldn't keep, and then they'll get rid of things that are crucial. There's the new Avatar series that they're doing.
Oh God, Jesus Christ!
And apparently, it's been freaking greenlit for another 2 seasons.
Yep, but they.
How about hemorrhaging money?
Well, apparently, from a lot I've heard, it's actually pretty good. It's just like they took a lot of the main shit out of there. Aang doesn't have his boyish charm of, wanting to live a life he never got to live. You don't have Sokka learning from his misogyny. Yep. You don't have Katara having her mothery, nurturing thing. Like, you don't have freaking Ozai treating Zuko like shit.
Yeah, they had Ozai feel bad for treating him how he did. And now apparently Ozai is supposed to have a slow descent into madness. It's like, Ozai's not mad, or it's like Ozai doesn't slip into madness. He's just a fucking megalomaniac. Yeah, and they changed things that were crucial to the story. And that's a problem when it comes to it. You can change a fair bit in stories as long as you keep the core elements right.
I mean, it also doesn't help they fucked over the story when they made the comics for so much of that shit and everything.
Mm-hmm. All right, so.
But apparently in the new one as well, or in the new thing, it's like Azula, May, and Ty Lee all look fucking identical. They're all like short, fat chicks, basically. Well, chubby chicks.
And that doesn't make any fucking sense. All right, so don't get me wrong, I like chubby chicks, but this is what it don't make sense for me. First off, Ty Lee is supposed to be an acrobat. She is supposed to be dexterous as fuck, and a fat chick won't get that level of dexterity. Secondly, Azula is a trained warrior. She should be lean, mean, and a fight machine, and so is fucking Ty Lee. Goddammit. Ty Lee, the acrobat. You can't, oh God. And then they're propping up Azula to be the one that teaches Aang, because they got rid of Zuko's scar and his reason for hating his father. Like, he had no reason to betray them anymore. This the shit. This the shit I hate.
And like I said, they got rid of crucial aspects about each character, changing them, which then completely fucking changes the character, changes the motivation. You don't have the same story. You don't have the same characters. One of the things that made a really good example of you can change elements around the core concept and it still be really fucking good. Every iteration of the Hitchhiker's Guide is a perfect example of that. Because the Hitchhiker's Guide, there's certain things that will stay the same. You will always go to Megalithia at some point. Okay. You will always have Arthur Dent, Ford Prefect,
Zaphod Beetlebrox,
Marvin the Paranoid Android, Zaphod Beetlebrox, and the Heart of Gold.
And so I'd even say similar for like a majority of the older iterations of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It always starts off more grounded in reality and science fiction, but it always ends up going into space, and it always ends up venturing into the supernatural, because that's what it actually fucking does in the comics.
Yep. And the thing is that
Sonic.
You have those storytelling elements. You have those characters, and those characters, if you take one version of Ford Prefect and you slap him in any other version of the story, it still works. Because Ford Prefect is still Ford Prefect, is still Ford Prefect, is still Ford Prefect. They don't change that.
But is he still Ford Prefect, though?
Yes. And they'll change other things around. So, like I said, you'll have specific beats, like Megalithia. How they get to Megalithia will change. You'll have the restaurant at the end of the universe. How they get to the restaurant at the end of the universe, and when they get to the restaurant at the end of the universe, will change. You'll have the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Will always be a part of it. But the rest of the components of the story will shift. And things will be different. One time, the way that they get off Megalothea is Marvin the paranoid android started talking to the police ship, and the police ship got so depressed that it offed itself. And by it offing itself, it killed the life support to the police. That's how they get out of that situation at one point. In one of the iterations, that's how they get out of it. In another one, the radio show, they hide behind a computer bank that the police keep on shooting, and eventually that computer bank explodes, and it casts them forward in time, and they just pop up at the restaurant at the end of the universe. Turns out, Marvin the paranoid android has just been sitting there the entire fucking time, ever since they left the world, or ever since they left Megalothea, due to the computer exploding. He's just been sitting there, maintaining the heart of gold, being depressed as shit, and the restaurant at the end of the universe was built on the remains of Megalothea. So you have different elements, but because they keep the core the same, you have the same characters, you have certain specific beats that you hit every time, but you'll hit them in different ways, but they're still hit.
Well, they're not hitting the same beats.
And that's what I'm saying. They're changing too much, and they're changing core aspects. You could have certain episodes that end up happening in a different order, and end up happening in a slightly different way, without changing the whole.
All right, Sanguine. I say this because I like to write. I'm an amateur writer, and I've learned this. You change a single hair on a character's head, it becomes a different character. Taking away Zuko's scars and not giving him the same issues with his father instantly changes his character and creates a brand new story path that should not exist. Him getting those scars is one of the reasons why he betrays them. He still had that visual reminder of like, yo, I gave you everything and you still abandoned me, essentially, for my sister. You know, and then having Iroh teach him to be a different person. I get it.
Here, that's what I'm saying. That they changed things that they should not have changed. I'm 100% in agreement with you. They shouldn't have changed how he got his scars, or if he has his scars, all that shit should not have been touched. That is a core anchoring element that needed to be maintained. But what I'm saying is that you could have... So, for example, you have to have Boomy. And you have to have the relationship between Boomy and Aang, and it has to be there. But the way that they end up getting from the Southern Water tribe to meet Boomy can change. They can go a different path rather than taking the exact one that they took in the original series. They can take a different path, and they can have slightly different adventures on that different path that touch on some of the same notes. So they still. But
the destination has to be the same.
The destination has to be the same. You have to have these concrete points, and the characters are all anchors. You cannot change the characters and tell the same story. You have to hit certain story points, or else you're not telling the same story. But how you get your characters from concrete point A to concrete point B can change, and you can tell the same story with it being different elements in that same story. The same way that the Hitchhiker's Guide tells the same story in every iteration of the Hitchhiker's Guide. It is telling the same story, but the elements of the story are different, except for the characters are all the same in every iteration. The key anchor points, there being the restaurant at the end of the universe, then going to Megalothea, those, and meeting Slarty Barkfast. Those are all the same. The things around them change. And when you have something that is a distillation of the story, you can't change that either. Which is one of the things that they did in the live action that they're doing, because the spirit of the forest. I'm trying to remember the name of the panda that was the spirit of the forest.
I know you're talking about, but I can't.
Oh,
remember
I
the
can't
name
remember
either.
his name, but the whole thing as well is they're just trying to retell the same story because they're hitting people with the exact same thing. It's not just the member berries, but a lot of people have used these shows as comfort shows because they know what's happening.
Yep.
So they're changing it just enough that people aren't going to realize, or they're changing it more than people realize because a lot of people haven't watched it in a long time, because then they can basically just get rid of the original.
Yep, and that's the problem. That it's one thing to have the anchor points and have your solid characters, and then change how they got there. So rather than them meeting this character in that town, they met a very similar character in this other town, and a slightly different story unfolds in that setup.
Well, it's like
I mean,
I've brought up, and I'm gonna cut you off, Spencer, that for something like this, if they were gonna do it, it should be a sequel. Unfortunately, like I said, they decided to do sequels with comic books and fucked up shit that was, or by changing people's characters in the comics as well. So they've just showed they don't care, because like in the comics afterwards, like May actually ends up breaking up with Zuko and getting a different boyfriend. So they basically like make Zuko brood over it and still want to be around May. So it's
why?
because reasons.
Like, all right. So, okay. This what gets me. It was already established that they were going to be together. It's just like him and Katara. It's already established that they're together. Like, why even go through that whole song and dance? Like, why even put? It'd be like Katara and him breaking up, and then somehow years later, oh, they're back together. Like, what the fuck was the whole point of this shit?
Yeah, like there's the whole thing of God, I can't remember what it was, but because of like one of Toph's daughters, that it's speculated that at some point in the between Avatar: Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, that something happened with Suki and she died, and Toph and Sokka had a relationship for a short extended time, and that's why one of Toph's daughters is actually darker complexion, more like a waterbender than typically earthbenders look.
So they're implying that it's fucking Sokka's kid.
Well, some people have thought that, because there's no, from what I'm aware of, there's no telling of like who's Toph's actual husband or male partner was. For all we know, she could have met a different fucking waterbender.
Or there were dark-skinned earthbenders too.
That too.
Like the Earth Kingdom wasn't the Earth Kingdom itself wasn't the only earthbending tribe. Like Boomy was an earthbender, and he technically lived a little ways away from the Earth Kingdom. So it could have been any number. Like there weren't just southern. There weren't just southern and Eskimo and Inuit waterbenders. They were the people in the fucking swamp.
Yeah.
They were waterbenders.
My whole thing, I'm just tired of them wanting to reboot to either tell the exact same story but in live action, or being like, we're going to tell the same story but we're going to change things up. It's like, just leave the fucking original. Either go before or after. Like you guys were talking about your stream earlier. You got to go like hell. They could have went much further back, looked at some of the avatars of the past, and gone and told their stories instead of just being like, we're just going to retell the same story that's already been told.
Or take that world.
But at the same time, I really like the way that the Hitchhiker's Guide was done. And the thing was,
I got one better for you, Rod, really quick. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I got one better for you, Rod. Why not take that world and tell a different story? We'll say there are 1 billion people in that world. Why not take one of the other stories about not world-ending shit, but this political situation, and you have the exact same. You have a firebender, you have an earthbender, you have a non-bender, you have a waterbender, and they're not the Avatar.
Basically follow a freaking the way they originally started The Mandalorian.
Yes, it's far away from the Jedis and the Sith, and far away from the Avatar and world-ending spirits. You can even have there were other people that dealt with the spirits that weren't the Avatar. So you can have someone dealing with the spirits, and no one will complain because it's an original story.
And I still, like I was saying, really like the way that it was handled every time that there was another version of the Hitchhiker's Guide. Douglas Adams was a big part of this, because in the first few iterations of it, he was the person that was behind writing each iteration. And what he wanted was, again, you had the anchor points, you had your characters, but the actual flow of the story changed every time. It would tell the same story, but it would be different every time.
So, Sanguine, I can agree with you in that whole thing. The problem is like every time they've done something like this, the original writers are on board for a short set of time,
and they kick them off,
and they end up leaving because of the changes that are made.
Yeah, and I'm saying that the reason why they keep on having that is because they keep on wanting to change the characters, and I'm saying, fuck you, stop changing the characters, stop changing the fixed points. You can change everything around the characters and the fixed points, but you have to have the characters and the fixed points. Because when you do it that way, then you end up with... I've never heard anyone say that they hated one version of the Hitchhiker's Guide because it wasn't another version of the Hitchhiker's Guide. I've heard them say that, yeah, my favorite version was the radio show, or the book, or the old miniseries, or this series. Never... That one sucks because it wasn't the book. That one sucks because it wasn't the radio show. Because each of them, you could listen to the radio show, listen through the entire radio show, love the entire radio show, read the book, and you're going, this is the same story, but it's different.
Yeah.
So
it's different enough.
Enjoy it as well without comparing it or feeling like listening to the radio show spoiled the story for you. Because it hits those different points. And it makes it interesting. Because then it becomes, rather than a, well, why would you go and see the Harry Potter movies when the Harry Potter books were better than the movies? Which I've heard people say that. I've heard people that say the opposite, that the movies were better than the books. Most of the people that say the opposite just don't like reading.
Yeah.
But...
Well, that's like, okay... I can put it this way. I enjoyed the Dark Tower movie. It is not as good as the books.
Yep.
One, because they do race swap the main character. Roland Deschain is not a black man.
Yep. And they made it so that by doing that, they couldn't continue the series. Because
but, well,
book series...
I put it this way. The Roland Deschain from the Dark Tower movie is part of the Stephen King cinematic universe, not part of the Stephen King book universe, because they changed up so much as well. Jake is no longer a gunslinger; he's got the shine.
Oh Lord!
Like from The Shining, because like the Dark Tower pulls like a little bit of the first, and then like you also have Roland is the one who kills freaking. Oh god, no, I can't remember the fucking wizard's name. But I am going to jump off for a moment because I just got my food set up, and I'm going to switch over to my computer.
Yep.
Okay.
Copy that. But you have... if... The thing that drives me crazy about it is, if they did it the way that was done for the Hitchhiker's Guide, that makes it so that everyone is able to go, no, I want to see this new version. I'm interested in what they're going to do with this new version. Whereas, just by trying to tell the exact same story without any changes, with changes that ruin it, or without any changes, both of those make it so that you don't have any interest in it. If you really loved the book of something, and then you find out that, oh yeah, they're making a series of it, they've changed everything about it, you're going to go, well, that isn't what I like.
I had that problem with Reacher. I like the actors, you know, they cast it well, but they changed too much shit in that first season. I didn't even bother watching the second one.
Yeah.
Again, it's not
good
going
example.
well.
A good example of a series that had that with me was The Wheel of Time.
Oh Lord.
The Wheel of Time, fantastic book series. I recommend The Wheel of Time. But stay the fuck away from the series that they made because it is not The Wheel of Time. They changed everything. None of the characters were maintained in the way that they were that character in the book. They have the same names for entirely different fucking characters.
There's a YouTuber named Desperoo. Okay. He went through everything they did wrong because he's a fan of the series, and he went through it and I fucking hate this.
Yeah. I've seen him on Open Bar with Critical Drinker and Mauler, but I haven't watched any of his stuff.
He's a good, if you want. He breaks down popular culture. He did Velma. He did Wheel of Time. He did.
I have no interest in either of those. So.
Well, no. It's just that he does it like analysis, like everything they done wrong and like the fucked up shit. Like I like him.
Oh no! Like I've liked him on those streams, and I'm sure his content I would find agreeable. I just have no interest in the subject matter. Like I don't give a shit about Velma. I'm not gonna watch somebody critique it, even if I agree with them.
Yeah, that was It
was a travesty.
And now that I know about the Wheel of Time, like I would if I had any interest in it, I'd probably just go ahead and read it.
Yeah, read it.
Yeah, like
it is a fantastic series. I am
working at the truck stop. I read the entire Jack Reacher series that they had in print, and another author by the name of Jack Carr, and they turned one of his books into an Amazon series as well. The Terminal List, that one that had Chris Pratt. I watched Reacher first, and I went ahead and stuck it out to the end of the season. Binging it, right? And then I tried to watch the first episode of The Terminal List, like the next day or whatever. That book, it starts off like in Afghanistan, a bunch of Navy SEALs. They switched it to like they're in a sewer tunnel in Syria at the start of the inciting incident.
Okay.
And I was like, nope, I'm out. Like that's how much they changed in Reacher. I was like, I'm not even gonna try and sit through this shit.
Yeah, like I said,
which I find weird because both of those apparently both those shows had like author input into it.
If you change the right thing, it can work. It's just they always want to change things that you should never touch. You don't touch the characters. Because if you change the character, that's a different story.
Yes.
Well, I didn't even make it. I don't think I made it even like 20 minutes into that first episode. They changed locations of like the inciting incident. They changed one character. It was like a reporter. In the book, she's like a 20-something, maybe early 30s. Blonde chick of like Eastern European descent.
Okay.
In the show, they cast Constance Wu.
Fantastic.
Really?
I've got nothing against Constance Wu. She's a good actress, but she's not of Eastern European descent and not blonde.
It's like when they fucking cast.
And I'm pretty sure she's what, in her late 30s, maybe 40s.
Yeah. And
that's like 3 strikes right there, just on the one casting.
To give
Stephen Chow, was it Stephen Chow that played Spike? That's
Who?
Stephen Chow. He played Sulu in the woke remake of Star Trek.
John Cho, yeah.
John Cho. Having him cast as fucking Spike Spiegel, who was like 26, 25.
Yep.
See, I knew nothing about Cowboy Bebop. That was Cowboy Bebop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about it going in. I was actually willing to give that live action a shot because of John Cho. I was like, I like him. You know, he's a decent enough actor. I'll give it a look. And then that one chick opened her mouth. I was like, nah, never mind. And then I saw like snippets and whatnot, people reviewing. I was like, oh, good God, no. I don't
Shit,
want that at all.
the creator came out like this is an abomination. He came out against it.
Well, apparently the reason why like the One Piece live action was somewhat well received, I guess.
The guy who plays the lead actor is
I'd
a
actually
huge
heard
fan.
some people saying that they liked it. So like the reason why that was better received is I think it was the same studio, right? Same studio made both, but the creator of One Piece had like creative vetoes. Like, no, you're going to reshoot that.
Plus, plus a lot of the main actor who plays Luffy is a huge One Piece fan.
Yeah,
that's what you
save The
get.
Witcher though.
Well, but think about how bad The Witcher would have been had that not been the case.
Yeah.
And
Again,
I don't
that's
think
another
you
thing,
need
like-
to think about it because they have another.
That was
thing
another
that
one.
they
Like,
tried
I
to
watched
do,
that for
and-
Cavill. I didn't read any of the books. I didn't
Yep.
play any of the video games. I was like, all right. I liked Henry Cavill in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. That was the 1st thing I saw him in. I was like, I like that dude. All right, cool. Yeah, it's like he's doing The Witcher. I was like, I've heard of that. You know, it was a pretty successful game. Like, apparently he's a fan. Okay, you know, see how that works. And
That's
I
why
had no reference going into like season 1. I was like, okay, this is kind of and then like season 2 was like, this isn't getting any better. And didn't even watch. I guess season 3 was that the last one he was in.
No, it was they split up season 4. I think it was season 4. They split up season 4 into 2 parts to keep him.
Well, no. Like, he was not in season 4. I thought he was only in season 3. I thought season 3 was his last one, and they're going to bring in the lesser Hemsworth.
Yeah, and instead they made it a fucking prequel or something.
No. They did that before they brought him in. Is a something Blood Origin or something like that?
Yeah, I thought that was a spinoff.
Yeah. That was.
It's a spinoff.
Yeah, it's 3 seasons. You're right. This one was his last.
I didn't even bother watching the 3rd season. I was like, he's on the way out anyway. I don't see this improving.
That's why I'm
on
hesitant.
the previous
about,
2 efforts.
So that's why I'm hesitant about the whole fact of him supposed to be doing the Warhammer 40K thing for Amazon.
You know what? I realized it's not even the actor. It's the fucking studio. It's executives, and you got the show. Them getting showrunners who want to.
Dude, that's the same issue that's been an issue for fucking years.
Yep.
We discussed this when we discussed like Blair Witch 2. If you actually went off what the director wanted to do, it's not a near as bad a movie. It's actually pretty decent for a sequel. But instead, fucking the studio, I want to say it was Harvey Weinstein, the fucking studio had to keep pushing in there because they had to use that, what was that old saying that Mitch likes to use? People seem to like.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I mean,
no, you need to fuck off.
Weinstein, he's also the reason why it took so long for there to be like a sequel to Boondock Saints.
Which the sequel to Boondock Saints isn't terrible. It's definitely not as good as the original.
Yeah,
It really isn't.
the original was so fucking good. Yeah. It is almost unreasonable to want a sequel to be as good as the original.
I'm not gonna say it's better or worse. I'm just gonna say I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Clifton Collins Jr. in that movie so much.
All right, I won't lie. I won't lie and say I didn't enjoy it. I think it was a good movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I mean, as far as sequels goes, especially these days, that's fucking.
Yeah, it's great.
If we're definitely grading on a curve. That's way up there compared.
But what was it? What I wanted in a sequel? No. Willem Dafoe was sorely lacking in that movie. And he helped make that movie what it was.
I mean, it had Julie Benz.
Yeah. So the big thing about all of those is what people don't realize is in like 98% of the time, sequels are never as good as the original.
No.
The closest two exceptions are typically for most millennials and whatnot, not Gen Xers, and that would be T2. And in my personal opinion, the second Expendables movie.
Nope. What was better than the second one was better than the fucking first one? Fucking Predators. Predators and Aliens too. Far better than the first one.
And those. Like, I bring the Expendables 2 into that one because the Expendables 2 went straight action and comedy with very little, like, trying to have the seriousness in it. And the first Expendables went half comedy, half serious, but it just wasn't done well.
Okay.
And a lot of people, like I said, they will put sometimes in that one T2 over, not usually better, but as good as T1. Some of the younger generation might put it better, but it's because you get to see Arnold be a good guy again.
Mm-hmm. And
Oh yeah, Jen, the Never-Ending Story should have never had a sequel.
It really shouldn't have.
Really good example of fucking up an important story point to my mind from a series that a lot of people enjoyed when it was coming out is from Harry Potter. I brought this up I don't know how many times, but it still annoys the ever-living hell out of me. In the books, for Half-Blood Prince, I think it is, it starts off with this amazing scene that is really tense, really, oh god, this isn't just about Harry Potter. This isn't just limited to him. It's in the Prime Minister's office, and then the Minister of Magic comes in. And the Prime Minister has been freaking out in the short bit before the Minister of Magic comes in because everything is going to shit. Bridges have collapsed. Buildings have blown up. Shit's just going sideways, and he has no clue what the fuck's happening. Everything that he got about the bridge, it shouldn't have fallen down. Everything that he got about the building, it should have been perfectly fine. And then Fudge comes in, and he goes, so you know how you've been dealing with all that shit? Yeah, I know how I've been dealing with all this shit. What the fuck is going on? That's us. It's you motherfuckers? Yeah, that's us. We're dealing with a war. You're having a war. I'm going to lose an election because you're having a fucking war. And it's this great scene of it's affecting everyone. It's spilling out into the rest of the world. It's not just the Wizarding world. No, the Death Eaters are a threat to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Like they should have been.
Yeah, and that made that far more interesting, far more impactful. Then the movie for the Half-Blood Prince comes out. Do you guys know what they did?
None of that.
Nothing.
That scene completely cut from it. They did have the individual events that were mentioned in that scene. They all happened in a fucking chase scene where Death Eaters were going after Harry Potter, and they accidentally destroyed a bridge. They accidentally destroyed a building. They accidentally had a massive blackout hit because they tried to hit Harry with a spell, and oh, look at that, I missed, and I hit a bridge. Oh well. That took away everything from that scene, because that scene was entirely, this has fuck all to do with Harry. This has everything to do with they will kill humans, normal muggles, just for being muggles. And that's the reason that this shit's happened.
Well, I'd say I can't remember the author, the Western authors. My dad likes him, and I've got to get the copies of the books he's got, because he's got doubles and whatnot, and I think some triples because of my grandfather was into him as well. But there was a couple actors they had on there that when they were going to make the movies of them, like, we're going to cut this, and like some of the actors were coming up, they're like, because they were fans of the books, like, no, you can't cut that. They're like, but why? It doesn't do anything. It's like, because if you cut this scene over here that you have makes no fucking sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna guess Elmore Leonard.
I'm going to guess Luis Amor.
Louis L'Amour, yeah.
I can't remember offhand. It might be more.
Did anyone else hear his flub of guess and it kind of sounded like molest?
I'm a molest.
Why are you molesting the Western writer?
Because he deserves it. He knew what he did.
because he wants to see a black cowboy.
But I'm on this.
That's not a shitty version with Will Smith.
Yes.
You didn't like Wild Wild West?
No, I liked Wild Wild West when it was in the black and
I
white.
enjoyed Selma Hayek in a corset, but that's about it.
I mean, there is the God, I can't remember the name of the movie with Denzel Washington as a cowboy, and he actually did a pretty damn good job.
The
Oh,
Quick
they
and
did
the
the
Dead.
Magnificent Seven.
The Magnificent Seven.
Magnificent Seven, yeah.
But that was that's a
There weren't any black people in the Quick and the Dead. What are you talking about?
Sorry, that's a play on Seven Ronin.
Yeah, which
So-
if I remember correctly, is just a fucking Usagi Yojimbo tale.
Yep.
Yeah,
No, Seven Samurai. Is...
Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai, then it was Seven Ronin, and then it's Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, Seven Samurai is not in the same continuity as Yojimbo. It's the there's a bunch of different movies that are based on Yojimbo, though.
Oh yeah, my
Because-
personal favorite.
Isn't? Oh, go ahead.
So my personal favorite is still Sukiyaki Western Django.
Isn't?
I'm not
go ahead.
familiar with that one.
That
Isn't-
one is a predominantly Asian cast that still does in English. It has oh god damn it. Tarantino in it. He plays a very small role. He's not the director from what I can remember. Like you see him in the beginning and you see him in the introduction for like Bloody Betty. Because that's what it for Sukiyaki Western Django is the two warring factions in town. Drifter comes in and the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And to not go into too much into it, but it's like, yeah, you find out his actual roots and everything, and goes down. So it's like you actually have a Western in there. You have a crank fucking Gatling gun, but you also have a dude still wielding a samurai sword.
I will say my favorite Japanese thing is going to be forever Lone Wolf and Cub.
Lone Wolf and Cub is good. It is absolutely insane, but it's good.
The shit he go through with that kid, man.
But yeah, the two main ones that people cite as Yojimbo are Fistful of Dollars
Oh yeah.
and Last Man Standing.
Well, I found Sukiyaki at Western Django of what's really funny is from a hip hop group from
Wu-Tang
California.
Clan?
No, God damn it! Now I can't actually remember their name right offhand. But the two artists from it are Carver Cadaver and Catfish. And what's funny is they're actually, at least last I know, a former acquaintance of mine who I haven't talked to in a long time that I did consider a friend. He actually knew them pretty well through the internet, and quite literally when they did their first release of their album, that they were gonna, if he could get out to California, he was basically they were gonna have him stay with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just called Grimoire. So you had Grimoire with Catfish and Carver Cadaver. And they had a podcast on the whole thing. And yeah, they were the ones who brought up Sukiyaki Western Django.
Mm-hmm.
Through the same person's also how I found Repo the Genetic Opera.
Oh.
That was
I found that you're talking about the movie, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I found that in a red box by mistake.
I found that
I thought it
found
was
that-
I thought it was the movie Repo Man with Jude Law and Forrest Whitaker.
Very different movie.
Very different movie, yes. I mean, I wasn't like terribly
Disappointed.
disappointed. Once I started watching the movie, but I was like, wait,
You
a
were
second.
very confused, and then you
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
I was like, neither one of these people are British or black, and why are they singing?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And
Anthony
is-
Stewart Head can't sing.
Why is Giles from frickin' Buffy singing?
he actually didn't he have a musical career at one point?
He did. I know. I still hate his voice.
But the one thing that probably made you think that Yojimbo and Seven Samurai overlap is Toshiro Mifune is also in Seven Samurai. Also, they're by the same director.
Oh, I was just guessing.
Okay.
Straight guess for me.
But yeah, Seven Samurai. In that, Toshiro Mifune plays Kakichio, who is the biggest badass in the fucking movie. Also, fucking hilarious because when everyone's getting ready for the attack by the bandits, everyone else is like preparing their sword. Kakichio is running around the village, stabbing swords into random locations.
So we can pick them up later on.
Yep, exactly. And throughout the entire ending battle where they're fighting, everyone else is keeping their sword. He loses his sword like 7 times.
And he just picks up another one.
Just keeps on going to one of the locations that he stabbed a sword into, pulls the sword out, starts killing people again. It is fantastic. And he was also notable in that because he was the only one of the samurai that wasn't a samurai.
A samurai. He lied.
Yep. He was extremely dangerous and very capable in a fight, but he was not of the proper class. He was a commoner that had learned how to fight and was trying to earn his name for himself. Which is why it was as much of a point that all the other samurai came to respect his opinion on everything.
I mean,
And
stripes.
Yep. And one of the touching moments for that, when you picked up on everything, was the fact that he was given a samurai's funeral at the end by the survivors.
Yes, that is proved his stripes in the end. Died a hero.
Yep.
Oh, you mean he actually wasn't worthy at first and earned his worth through merit? Wow, who'd have fucking thought?
Fascism. I know. Don't. Microaggressions. Meritocracy isn't a thing. It's white supremacists. All the buzzwords. Buzz. You know, but I like the old kung fu flicks and samurai, movies. I love those types of things. They're just...
I still can't remember what the movie was called. I think it was Jade something or something with the monkey, where they actually had Jet Li and Jackie Chan in there. And it's basically the isekai film where it takes the white...
Oh, you're talking about not Forbidden Kingdom. You're talking about Monkey King. Was it Monkey King?
Yeah, well, I know that in the end you actually find out Jet Li's character is the Monkey King because they're trying to basically get something to the Jade Emperor or whatnot.
No, it was the Forbidden King.
Yeah, Forbidden King.
Yeah, Forbidden King. Then.
The Chinese American isekai with a white guy.
And then Jackie Chan is at the end because he drank the elixir of immortality.
Have a running monk.
And he pisses on the guy's. He pisses on Jackie Chan's head. Just like a fucking monkey.
It was so dumb, but it was so fun. Which
Just
is one
like
of the
a
things a
fucking
lot of movies miss nowadays because they want to bombard you with a message.
Yep.
That's why I bring up. I still haven't seen the second Shazam movie, but the first one is just so good because it's just a an early teenager acting as an early teenager who has superpowers. And
that was also one of the reasons why the Guardians of the Galaxy were so popular.
Because it was
their movies first came out. Because it was just fun.
See, the problem is they're always trying to milk shit for what it's worth. Some movies we don't need a cinematic universe isn't needed for certain things. You don't need, we gotta have Shazam 3 set up, Black Adam 5, and Black Adam 5 is gonna lead into phase 27. You know, it doesn't need to be that. Like, I just want to see one movie where, like the original Fantastic Four, the first one with Jessica Biel. Was it Jessica Biel?
I believe
Jessica
so.
Alba.
Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba. Jessica Alba. They were good movies that did not have to be set in the cinematic universe.
Whoa. Good?
Okay
They were
movies. Oh, they were
that
okay.
were fun.
They were okay movies that
They were-
didn't need to be set better.
They were movies, I tell you what.
They were okay movies for what they were at the time.
They were movies that were fun.
Alright, the Blade trilogy. No one hates the fucking Blade trilogy.
The third movie is not the strongest, but I still have a love of it.
The second movie wasn't the strongest for me.
The second movie is, in my opinion, the least strongest of the three. The first is obviously the best. The third is fun because it actually still hits the seriousness, but does tweak in the good comedy to it. The second one is just the way they went with the villain. It just didn't fit near as well as it should have.
I love the end of when he's kicking the guy and screams Frost. As much as I don't like Denzel, Wesley Snipes, he can fucking act.
It's like one of the problems for the second movie, even though it had a good actor and Snipes had a lot of input for the martial arts. There was just a lot of it like where he refused to open his eyes. So they had to CGI his eyes being open, or the fact of like that final fight to where it had more CGI than it should have.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they should have hit him behind the sunglasses. That's what it should have been. Like, I don't know. Blade was a good one. You know what? I'm glad they never made a second one of Spawn.
Now, I will say this. If they'd have done it right and kept it the R-rated that it should have been, it could have been really great. That's one of the few movies I would like to see an actual two-character, though, and I'd even be fine with Michael J. White reprising his role.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was in heavy prosthetic.
Make it freaking, but you make it freaking rated R, and you actually follow the fucking story.
Mm-hmm.
Because like John Leguizamo did a good job, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, as Clown. Oh fucking hell yes! Bring back Clown. Bring back Clown. Bring back fucking Cosgagros. In the comics, fucking Cosgagros goes evil.
Yeah, and just the bigger problem was they wanted to make it too PG-13 when it should not have been PG-13 the slightest. That's one of the big props I still give for Ryan Reynolds being a part of Deadpool. When people are like, it should be made PG-13 because it's a superhero movie and my son wants to go see it. And you have Ryan Reynolds been like, no, this is a grown-up movie. It's meant for adults. By the way, your mom's a whore.
Ha! Well, Deadpool is not a hero. He's the merc with the mouth.
Yeah. But it was one of those things. You didn't always need to have the fucking PG-13. Not everything's meant to be for kids.
Shit! I wish we had 70s PG-13. Fucking Wizards is 70s PG-13.
Yeah.
Wizards! Have you seen that movie?
The thing
Not that I'm
is
aware of.
that there's certain heroes that, yeah, you can make a PG-13 movie for, and you can do so rather easily. Unfortunately, those heroes they're trying to warp into, they kill everyone. No, they don't. Every time since the Reeves movies, they've tried to do a Superman movie. They've gotten Superman wrong. Entirely fucking wrong. And it pisses me off, because Superman, for a while, I was of the mind that Superman was one of the most boring characters because he was way too powerful. And then I realized that you don't watch Superman for, oh, will this be able to challenge his strength? You watch Superman as his villains fuck with him on
You
an
watch-
emotional level.
Yes, because
Yes.
Superman is supposed to be a moral debate.
Yep.
It's supposed to be the moral argument. And that's what a lot of people don't see. I mean, granted, I did not hate Man of Steel. Man of Steel is not by any means a great movie. But I did not hate it. But that's like for the Christopher Reeves man, or it's like, Superman. You also have him, doesn't kill Zod, but just pushes him off a ledge to where until you see the end that they got put back in the Phantom Zone, he'd be dead because of that whole thing.
See, there are a couple elements from the Reeves one that are quintessential Superman. One of them was Clark Kent getting mugged.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Clark Kent, everyone fucking knows, he's Superman. He realizes that if he did anything against this guy,
He blows his cover.
he blows his cover, and not just that he blows his cover, he's probably going to end up killing the guy if he tries to do anything. Because this is a normal fucking human. So what is he supposed to do? Punch him? That guy's head explodes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, also by that time frame and that whole thing, Superman would know how to tone his power back to where he could do that. It just was sometimes.
But in the end, it wouldn't have hurt. Like, if he got stabbed, he wouldn't have done it. He would like, oh, okay, ow.
yep. So what he does is he just plays along with it. And then, if I remember correctly, he gets the information for the guy and just submits it to the police and goes on with life. That was how he handled it. Which, that's a very Superman thing to do. Also, one of the best moments of acting ever in a Superman movie is Superman deciding to tell Lois Lane, or Clark Kent deciding to tell Lois Lane that he's Superman.
No, you had it right the first time. It's Superman decided to tell Lois Lane that he's Clark Kent.
No, fuck you, that's wrong. He is Clark Kent first
No.
and foremost.
No,
Every
he is
fucking time.
he is Superman. He is Kal-El posing. The costume is Clark Kent.
No, the costume is Superman. Because when he's looking for help, when he goes back to his parents, he does not go and talk to fucking ghost of Kryptonian father. No, his parents are Ma and Pa Kent.
No,
He is Clark Kent, and it's made very clear throughout the works that he is Clark Kent.
I say
and
the
Superman-
uniform is Clark Kent. The mask is Clark Kent, and
You
the
have
real
the
man
character
is.
entirely wrong, just like they do then.
No, it's not that I have it
Batman and
wrong.
Bruce Wayne, not Clark Kent.
It is Bruce
Well,
Wayne, I would say, is the cover for Batman. Because Bruce Wayne is the one that he has to play more of a part for. Clark Kent is Superman, but Superman is Clark Kent. Clark Kent's character is the central character to Superman.
How Clark Kent acts and interacts with people is not who he is. It's how he interacts with the people around him. But his principles were defined as Clark Kent before he was
Yep.
ever Superman.
Which is what I'm saying, that the central person, yeah, he fakes how he dresses and fakes how he stands and everything like that. Yeah, he's more true to Clark Kent, to who he is, which is Clark Kent, when he's standing up straight, standing up tall, and speaking with authority. And that is him being more true to how he's presenting himself, but he is still at the core Clark Kent. He is not Kal-El at the core of himself.
I say
He's
Max
Clark
is
Kent
Clark
at the
Kent.
core.
It is not Clark Kent that needs to hold back. It is Superman that needs to hold back. Like, if he was truly Clark Kent, he would have been happy when he lost his powers. But he wasn't, because he knows at the core he is who he is.
The reason why he's not happy when he loses his powers is because
He can't do shit.
At his core, he is a ridiculously good person that actually has the power to do things. So when he loses his power, he doesn't mourn losing his power because he's not powerful. He mourns losing his power because he can't help people, which is a very different thing. But when Clark Kent goes to tell Lois Lane that he's Superman, that acting is phenomenal. Because it was, everyone always has the joke of how can't people realize that the like 6'5" corn-fed beefcake in glasses is Superman. He's clearly Superman. But in that scene, it's this, that's how they don't realize it. Because you see Clark Kent shift into Superman.
Well, we lost here anyway, so.
Well, here's something completely off topic. I was scrolling Twitter and somebody
God damn it.
put a poll question. Should I join the military? Yes or no? Like, if you're asking
Nope.
Twitter, the answer is no.
Yeah.
And apparently the majority of the people that responded agree. Like, it's 79.1% no to 20.9% yes.
It's just like asking if you're the asshole. If you have to ask, you probably are the asshole.
I just think it's funny. It's like, I mean, I didn't join when there were 2 wars going on. Like, I wouldn't join now for no.
When there's fucking 3, potentially.
But
Born too early. It's like, what was it? Born too early to fight in to fight in the Middle East. Born too late to fight in the Middle East, but born just in time to fight in the Middle
fight
East.
in the Middle East.
Right in the Middle East.
Or go to the Ukraine and fight there.
Yay. I'm going to die on someone else's soil.
I tell you what, man. Like, you know, Red Dawn ever happens, sign me the fuck up. But like, if I gotta hop a plane or take a boat to go kick somebody's ass, I don't know if it's worth it.
See, I'm going to say something that sounds fucked up, but it is 100% true. I am much happier our troops dying on foreign soil than I would be with our troops dying on ours.
I mean, isn't
Because
that
that
why
means the war's coming here. I agree.
I mean,
Yeah,
isn't that why we have, like, you know, nukes and space lasers and all that stuff? So that way we can
No, we don't have the Death Star,
press the
David.
button over there.
My only thing on that, Sanguine, it's like
Why don't we have a Death Star yet, man?
We have the Joint Death Star of David.
Because people canceled Reagan's program.
What I was gonna say is the whole thing is like, we really don't have any legitimate stake in the Ukraine thing other than what fighting a proxy war. Even with the Israel thing, like, they're an ally, but they're also, for some odd reason, one of the only allies who has fucked with our boats that we didn't fucking bend over a barrel.
With our boats? What?
Back in the day, Israel did sink, I think, 1 or 2 of our boats.
Oh, the USS
And
Liberty.
yeah, and we have not, and we did not bend them over a barrel for that, like we have to everyone else. And it just seems like more and more recently with the shit they're wanting to do for like the Palestinians and trying to put shit in Ukraine, especially putting boats over there and whatnot, they're trying to cause a war.
With the Ukrainian issue, the way that I see it is there's better ways of doing it than putting boots on the ground. But we did have the promise that if you get fucked with, we're coming in to fuck with whoever fucked with you.
All right,
Oh,
this is
I mean,
my thing about that entire situation.
Technically, they're not our ally, and technically,
Exactly.
we have no NATO thing to
They-
them, or nor any treaties. And we've spent enough fucking money over there, and I'm just fucking done with it.
See, I agree with the
Wasn't
money aspect
France
because
calling for like boots on the ground
I
in
think
NATO, or in Ukraine.
I think
Probably.
the problem is that we had this amazing policy that got us through the world wars, and it was brilliant. And
Isolationism.
amazing. No,
I just,
not isolationism. Lend-lease, motherfucker. Lend-lease. It's a god-tier policy that, for some reason, we aren't fucking using. Lend-lease was amazing because we would provide people weapons, and there would be a contract. You pay us back.
Yes,
yeah,
I like being
I
the
like
world's
this.
arms dealer too, Sanguine.
I can go with that, but what I'm tired of is the whole thing is of like we give them money so they can buy weapons that they're not buying from us.
I got one better for you.
I'm just tired of us especially when you look at the whole thing that got brought up of how like the Ukraine is fucking corrupt as shit, and with the weapons we've given them, they've already found them in other countries for doing other fucking nefarious shit. It's like, no, it's time to fucking cut Zelensky off the tit. And if they fucking go to goddamn Russia, they fucking go to Russia. I don't give a shit.
No, I'm more worried about arming a paper tiger. Giving it, those weapons will eventually be pointed at us. It'll be the same guns we gave them, and they're pointed in our direction. And it's not going to be the fucking Russians doing it. It's going to be the Ukrainians. Like it. I'm an isolationist. I don't fucking think we should get involved in anybody but the ones we have treaties with.
So if I want to buy some unregistered firearms, I should
Go to
go to
Ukraine.
Ukraine.
Yep. You want a tank? You can get yourself a tank. Get yourself an
I mean,
Abrams.
Like gas is over $3 a gallon, and diesel's even worse. I don't know if I can afford to pick up a Bradley.
Yeah.
Get yourself an Abrams.
I'm pretty sure the miles per gallon on that's not going to be very economical.
Look, Kate, just park it on your lawn.
Although motherfuckers would get out of my way when I'm on the highway, that's for sure.
Exactly. And I guess the ammunition would cost an ass load, but
I mean,
But yeah, what I was saying is that we encouraged them to give back nukes, which they only gave back.
Weren't they
because
trying
be
to
we-
back. I'm
Abrams?
listening.
aren't they trying to give them Abrams now?
Yeah, but we encouraged them to give back nukes. We said that if Russia attacked them, we'd have their back.
So, like, do they have enough people that like can read English and everything, or are we like putting like all the instructions in Ukrainian?
We have
For the,
NATO instructors that are training them.
So they've got enough people that speak English, like read.
I don't know.
We have enough NATO allies that speak their language, and they have enough people that speak English that we're able to train them in how to use the equipment.
Yay, that's all we need.
But
I mean, I don't know. Like, how long does it take to learn how to like drive a tank and fire the main turret and reload and all that shit?
not
What's the main
ridiculously long,
Okay.
because
Like my only experience is like playing War Thunder. All right, so like I don't know.
think how quickly we turn out our tankers.
I'll be honest. Like neither the Army nor the Marines tried to recruit me to drive a tank, so I have no clue what the training cycle is like for those guys.
Not
Couldn't
terribly
tell
long.
you.
No, they gave me very shitty options. You know, if they offered me the chance to drive a tank, maybe I would have joined up. No one tried that fucking pitch. All right. Like the Navy offered me submarines and EOD, and the Army wanted me to be a fucking insurance adjuster. Like I was not having the greatest time on my recruiting trips.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna try joining the fucking the Navy, and I already had a discussion with my father of why I wasn't trying to join the Marine Corps.
The Marines almost got me. They almost got me. Like they were the last ones to show up.
It came close in that whole thing. Then I had a discussion with my father, and he was and we were both like, no, because it went into the whole thing. And my dad's like, you try to join the Marine Corps, and we gonna fight. And I'm like, I love you, Dad, but I don't want to have to shoot you. No,
my dad didn't give a shit.
My
But
dad
no,
was my dad was in the Marine Corps, and he got fucked over. So, and so did one of my other friends, who was in the Corps as well. Got fucked over a bit while he was in the Corps. So it's like it's not 3 hot meals in a cot. It's 3 meals and a place to sleep. And it doesn't always mean a bed, and it doesn't even mean 3 hot meals.
Just 3 meals.
Yeah.
No, like the Army recruiter, he didn't fill out my paperwork properly, and so like they was like, yeah, you know, your test scores, they're valid for the next couple of years, but we're gonna pretend you were never here. You know, come back and try again later. You know, get this shit sorted out. And then, I considered the Air Force. Like, you know, they're all like got their offices right there next to each other. So, you know, walk out of one, walk into the next. You know, Air Force. He's like, yeah. What do you want to do in the Air Force? Like, fly drones. Duh. He's like, yeah. You need to be like, you know, you need to have a college degree to do that. I was like, dude, it's fucking PlayStation. Come on.
Nope.
Like, yeah, you gotta be an officer. I was like, really? To sit in a fucking trailer? Come on, man. Like, nah, that's the way to do it. Like, anything else you want to do? Is like, fuck no.
Wait, you mean that you said, come on, man, and they didn't go, oh, sorry, Mr. President?
Come on,
Nah,
man.
this was 2006. He was still just a senator.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I was like, man, you know, like, I play Ace Combat. You know, I've been on a few flight simulators. Come on, give me a chance. Come on.
Be a friend. Be a pal.
I mean, to the guy's credit, he was like, do you know how much a fucking Reaper costs? I was like, more than I make, but I can figure it out. Yeah, he wasn't having it, and I wasn't interested in being an airplane mechanic, even though I probably could have fucking made bank.
Depending.
Oh no, I mean like as a
on-
civilian.
Oh
not-
yeah. Well, again, it's still depending.
Yeah.
Because if you'd have done the whole thing to where, like, it was my career field to where, yeah, I could make a pretty decent living getting out of the military and doing my job as a civilian, working for the fucking military. But I don't want to do that anymore.
Well,
I should
no,
say
like
I don't wanna do that.
my experience as an you know, not even like an auto mechanic, but like in the auto mechanic field, I'm a shitty mechanic. You don't want me working on planes. That shit will fall straight out of the sky.
Ouch.
But no, yeah, like the Navy, Navy guys, like,
Are you interested in joining the Russian military?
not particularly. I already don't want to be in a building that's more than 1 story tall, and I don't need another reason for that.
How about the Chinese?
I think we would do well with the Chinese military.
You mean the gang that can't shoot straight? No, thank you.
See, that's why you would do well in it. You can shoot straight.
Yeah, but their rifles can't.
You can always go to North Korea.
No.
Well, now you're just trying.
I don't feel like I need to elaborate on that either.
Now you're just being mean.
I can't say I disagree with you on that one, Camel.
I can't say I disagree with you either.
Hey, man, if I'm not raising my right hand for Uncle Sam, what makes you think I'm doing it for somebody else?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
No, come on, think about it. You said that if you were jet mechanic, that jet would be falling out of the sky.
Yeah, because I'm not good at it, not because I'm fucking Russian.
Yeah, but you would be doing it for Uncle Sam, just with a different uniform.
And you be doing it for a different reason. You're purposely trying to make him fall out of the sky.
I'm also pretty sure after a little bit they'd probably kill him. You know
Yeah,
good
yeah.
is good.
You know good plane maker. You die.
He's not a very good mechanic. And he doesn't even smell like vodka. He must die now.
You have to time it out right. That way you get out of there before they realize.
Day
Well,
one, Sanguine. Day one.
Look. This is what you do. You wait. You get there. You start making plans. You tell them, no. These are special. You gotta go to war first before you use them, and then you leave. And then when they're at war and they fall out of the sky, you're in the clear.
And
I don't think it works like that, here.
I know, but still.
I mean, I'm not experienced in this particular field, but I got a feeling. It don't work that way.
so tonight's going to be a good night.
But yeah, like the Navy, like they saw my test scores, like, hey, want to work on a nuclear submarine? I was like, fuck no, I don't.
Fuck no.
You don't want to be
Why not?
jumped
I was like, well, I'd like to see the sun more than once every 6 months, and I don't want to glow in the dark.
My uncle
Got
has
anything
experience
else?
on that. No. I also don't want to be on a fucking ship for that goddamn long, considering the fact some fucking prick every time they get the goddamn pipes clean is going to clog them up again, so you have to wade through like 2-3 inches of shit water.
Yeah.
Like,
Because the fucking pipes on goddamn the ships like that only are good for fucking single ply toilet paper. And I don't feel like being that in touch with myself.
well, no, like his next pitch was, how about EOD? This is 2006. I was like, what's EOD? He's like, it's the Navy bomb squad. I was like, have you seen the fucking news? I was like, just, any channel, network, cable. I mean, you read a newspaper anytime in the last, like, I don't know, 4 years? Anything? Like, because he didn't elaborate either, man. If he had been a half decent salesman, he probably could have pitched me on it. I don't think I would have succeeded in that training pipeline, but he could have at least fucking sold me. Like the shit I found out years later, on my own as a civilian, not even like really looking into it. Like EOD gets, like, as an enlisted guy, like the only guys get paid better than them are SEALs.
Yeah.
They get demo pay, they get jump pay, they get dive pay.
Hazard
They deploy
pay.
with the SEALs.
They get all sorts of hazard pay.
Yeah, and it's like their training pipeline's like a year and a half long at least. I was like, if he had just looked at a fucking calendar, he could be like, hey man, if you sign up today and leave tomorrow,
You'll be
you
done
won't
in
see
a
combat
year.
for like 2 years. A lot of shit changes in 2 years. No, he didn't do any of that. He's like, okay, moving on. Like, he must have been like at the end of his recruiter hitch. He did not give a fuck.
He must have been like 2 days before retirement.
Also, what time of the month was it?
Dude, it was fucking almost 20 years ago. I don't know.
Well, if it's typically near the beginning of the month, they're not going to be as heavy into it. It's only when they start getting towards like the end of the month they're going to be looking
Quota
for
time.
quotas.
Oh yeah, I don't remember. He's like, fuck it, I don't care, dude. Like, like these are things. These are things you could do with your scores. I was like, neither of those sound like cool or fun or interesting or I don't know, safe. Like I don't want to be fucking like, playing Homer Simpson 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. All right.
I do not disagree with you there.
But yeah, the Marines, they almost got me, man. 'Cause, like they're the last office on the way out, and for once the recruiter was actually in his office, and he saw me leaving like after dealing with the Navy, the Army dickbag, and just kind of well, guess I'm not doing that, And the only reason why I was even thinking about joining was for college money anyway, and I didn't know what I wanted to fucking be when I grew up, so I would have been wasting Uncle Sam's money, getting a pointless degree that I was probably never going to use.
Oh, you wouldn't have to worry about that. I mean, I've met far too many people that have been in the military and wasted Uncle Sam's money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would
mean-
have wasted my time too. And I don't want to get my ass shut off for for a piece of paper I'm never going to use. But
Well,
yeah,
you could have mastered underwater basketball weaving.
he saw me. He's like, "Hey man, so you joining the army?" I was like, "I thought I was. Apparently not. No." Because like this is right getting back from MEPS. Like after they said like, "Hey, this piece of paper doesn't match this piece of paper, so thanks but no thanks. Try again later." And I was like, I thought I was going to, but apparently I'm not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I was 17, you know?
Yeah.
And like, you ever thought about joining the Marine Corps? I was like, man, not really, but I'll hear you out. I mean, I've listened to everybody else in this place. What do you got? What's your pitch? I was like, yeah. Like, what do you mean? What's my pitch? I was like, well, I mean, the Army guy was,
A fucking stutter?
Is there an echo in the building, Sergeant? No, it was like, the Army guy's offering this, the Navy guy's, offering, these jobs and whatnot. Like, what are you offering? He's like, I'm not offering you shit. I was like, excuse me? I was like, I'll give the Marines credit, man. They got the reverse psychology fucking down. I'm like, I'm not gonna offer you shit. And they're like, okay. Like, you join the Marine Corps, everything you get, you'll earn. I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, I see how they fucking get people, man. That's like, it was some smooth shit on a 17-year-old. Now I'm 35. I was like, I see what the fuck you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, good on you, but I fucking get it now.
Yeah. It's like, bro, you shot your shot, and like you didn't do terrible, but no.
Well, no. Like he had me up to the point. Like I was like, all right, well, like because I was like 17 years old, like maybe $150. I'm a big fat ass now, but just tall, lanky. I could still. I mean, I decent run. I could do sit-ups. I could do push-ups. But he's like, the Marine Corps, we do pull-ups. I was like, oh, okay, that's where you lost me, son.
Yeah, I can barely still get a pull-up now. I mean, granted, I still weigh like just shy of 240.
Like well, the problem is, like, I'm 6'2", man. I got nearly a 7-foot wingspan. That's a lot of travel.
Yeah, I'm 5'10".
Man.
It's like from last I want to say like around last time we measured, because I got long, lanky arms for a dude that's 5'10". I got at least, from my understanding, is a 6-foot arm span.
Yeah. Yeah. Now add an extra foot on there. It's like, I got a lot of travel in a fucking pull-up, all right?
Camel,
Yeah.
I'm 6'1", built like a Tolkien dwarf, just taller. I have ape arms.
Like,
I'm waiting for Tier to come and be like, I got short ass fucking arms, man. Okay.
Shit, I ain't got no. I'm 5'11".
Up till that point, I had never done a pull-up. Like phys ed, my school, like we did, we ran, we did push-ups, we did sit-ups, we did jumping jacks, all that shit. I was like, I could do that, man. Yeah, no problem, no sweat. All right, yeah. The Marines like, we do pull-ups. I'm like, oh fuck. Because like when I was going through the whole Army recruiting process, like I had a cousin who did a hitch as a recruiter. He knew of the guy that was trying to recruit me into the Army. He's like, yeah, he's a shitbag. I'm like, yeah, well, thanks for telling me now. I found that out already. You're a little late with the news. And then I had a step cousin. He had, I can't remember how long he'd been in the Marine Corps at that point. I called him up. He had some downtime. Like, hey, man, like, I'm thinking about joining the military, and it's really boiled down to the Army or the Marines. He's like, well, let me ask you a question. Suppose you're on deployment and somebody shoots at you. Do you want to be able to shoot back at them? I was like, duh. He's like, join the Marines then. I was like that simple? He's like, yes, that's simple. He's like, if you're in the Army and somebody shoots at you, like, you gotta like get clearance to shoot. I was like, you're shitting me. He's like, nope. I'm like, hold on, let me call my other cousin. I need to confirm this shit. Because, that Army cousin, he started off in the infantry. I was like, hey, man, is what Cradle Breath over here saying true? He's like, yeah, it's just, I was like, oh, you're fucking mumbling, dude. He's right.
Yeah, for the Air Force. Because technically we were supposed to have a yearly qualification, and I think in total I qualified maybe 5 times in 12 years. I had my basic
Okay, I
training.
went to public school, but like the math there, I don't feel like that was
I
yearly.
qualified my initial basic training, both my deployments, one time for readiness. That puts me at 4. Going to Okinawa because I had to have it for that. And I think I might have had one more after that. I can't remember. But yeah, typically for the Air Force, depending on your job, and since I was aircraft maintenance for electronic warfare and that whole thing, for anyone like us, we didn't go qualify unless we were going to deploy. And it's like, you wonder why there's a whole bunch of people that can't fucking stay accurate with a rifle and that whole thing when they don't fucking practice.
But yeah, like like I said, the Marine. Once the recruiter told me, it's like they do pull-ups. Like it flashed right in my brain. It's like I do not want to be sitting in the middle of San Diego with a bunch of other dudes my age sitting there watching me get yelled at by some drill instructor because I can't do a pull-up.
That's the whole thing for basic. There's a lot of people that go to those things and can't fucking do shit for that.
Yeah, that's like, oh, not doing that.
Like for my 8 weeks of basic, because I was one of the last ones before they went back to the 6-week basic training for the Air Force, I went from like being able to run 1.5 miles in like fucking 15 minutes to like an 11:30.
Damn.
Yeah, around like closer to like 11:19, I want to say was my best run. And by the way, I was also running with a torn PCL in my right knee.
Yeah, for me, I was told that I was medically disqualified when I was in high school.
Oh, my favorite part for that was when I went to MEPS to talk to them. Like, they're less worried about the torn ligament in my knee that is so goddamn it was a guaranteed type 2 tear, if not a type 3, that it could tear the rest of the way. They were more worried that I had hardware in my right hand to reconnect bone.
Yep. Yeah, for me, I was medically ineligible because of having febrile seizures when I was really young, which febrile seizures are seizures caused by a fever. Not epilepsy, nothing else. It was I had a fever I had 4 fevers that got so high.
You had a seizure.
Started having seizures. Haven't had seizures since. Have no indication of having any seizures since. But because at one point, a doctor, when I was having febrile seizures, misdiagnosed me, which was then corrected after that as having epilepsy rather than febrile seizures. Again, it was corrected, going, oh no, these were febrile, not epilepsy. I'm medically ineligible because if epilepsy is in your med rec at any point, you're not in.
Well, that's like we had a guy get most of the way through basic, and then it was found out that I can't remember if he actually knew or not and lied, or if it was just found out through there that like he had to be removed from service because of being, I think it was HIV positive.
Yeah, that is a thing that absolutely should cause you to be removed, because you don't want your battle buddy to get wounded and then suddenly you all have AIDS.
Yeah. Everyone has AIDS. Your grandma and your
AIDS.
mother too.
AIDS.
I mean, I still openly admit for joining the military, I don't regret it. It got me out of my local area, at least for a while, so I got to experience things because I'm still a firm believer for every person, even if they're not like planning on living with their parents later on and whatnot because they're going through college, you should still have about 2 to 3 years that you move at least 2 hours away from your local area just to kind of get a better idea of like how things work in the world, so you're actually not just thinking that it's like your hometown.
I've seen enough of the world. It's like I don't want to.
Well, that's why I said you don't have to move to it. You don't have to pull the shit like I did, to where it's like I got to get the fuck out of this area for a while. So I joined the military and got moved to fucking New Mexico. Like in Oklahoma, you could have just been like, I'm gonna move like 2 hours north, south, east, west, in any of those directions, to where it's far enough that like you could still day trip back to your folks' house or to like visit your grandmother or something.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah. So
when
you got
I did that when I was 17, and then I thought about joining the military, and I was like, you know what? I mean, I'm already on my own. What the fuck am I doing? Is
Yeah,
it
but
just for college money? You know what? I don't need college money that bad.
That's the thing, is like you moved, got to see something different. It wasn't your local area with how you knew things were.
Yeah, it was just different. It was just different enough.
Yeah.
Um,
So like I said, what's funny is like I joined the military because I was like, okay, I got to get out of this area. I don't want to work in a factory anymore. At least at that point, I didn't want to work in a factory again that I was aware of. To only end up coming back to the same area I grew up in, and I'm working in a factory again. Granted, my job has exponentially less responsibilities than my actual last factory job.
yeah, my old man, when I was a kid, he and his wife would try and take me on trips, out of state, and go see this and go do that. He said, I wanted you to see the world was bigger than your hometown. I was like, okay, I still prefer my hometown.
Yes, but the whole thing as well.
Thank you for showing me that the rest of the world sucks too.
The thing on that is like you're only leaving for a small, like seeing the world that way. You're only leaving for a small set of time, so you don't get used to how things actually are there. You're there for a little bit, you experience, and you leave.
Well, no, even as a kid, like oh, we're gonna go to Colorado and do this or that. It's like, all right. Then we get to Colorado. It's like, so what do you think? It's like, I think all my stuff's back in Oklahoma, and I'd rather be there.
Yeah.
We're gonna go family reunion to Tennessee. It's like, most of us live in Oklahoma anyway. Why the fuck are we going to Tennessee? Right. Oh well, your stepmom, one of her brothers and his family, they live in Florida. It's like, then tell them to hop a fucking plane.
Yeah.
Like, we have commercial air travel.
Like if they don't want to fucking fly, they can drive.
There's highways from there to here.
Yeah, why are we meeting them in the middle? Most of us live here. They're the odd ones out.
Yeah, I'm actually in major agreement on that one. Well, that's why, like I said, though, it's like it's just something.
I mean, it'd be different if we were scattered all across the country.
Yeah. Well, it's like my whole thing for a lot of that, and it's not everybody needs to do it. It's a good thing because, it gets you out of that typical comfort zone of where you were. But in that whole situation as well, it's not like you're just leaving everything back in your hometown with your folks or whatever and moving to another area. You still have your stuff.
Yeah.
Pending you don't get robbed, obviously.
And
yeah, but like
Camel's arguing that you should all meet in Lebanon, Kansas.
No,
family reunions.
Camel's arguing that
if
if the majority of the family, other than like 2 fucking people, live in Oklahoma, the goddamn family reunion should be in Oklahoma, and I agree with him.
Yep, but if your family's scattered around the U.S., then you all meet in Lebanon.
I mean, that is where the Men of Letters compound is located. So yeah, like that would be a safe bet for a family reunion.
Plausible.
Smack dab of the contiguous 48.
But but no, like just random stuff like that. And it's like I appreciate seeing the scenery and whatnot, but I mean, this is the internet age.
Yeah.
They have I don't need to see the pyramids. They got pictures of them. you know.
Yeah, there's only certain like actual things I want to go to in that to actually hit up, and most of them, even though you can see some of them, I still want to hit the national or the actual natural landmark itself. Like I've been to the Grand Canyon. I still one of these days want to go to Yellowstone, and Mount Rushmore is a meh.
So, Camel, what I'm hearing is you're even more in agreement with Nebraska is not a vacation spot. Because if you want to see Stonehenge, you can just pull it up on the internet.
Yeah, man, I've been in that camp since the beginning.
I just wanted to state that again because
you're trying to win over the and
you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. You're trying to win over the crowd that's already on your side.
Except for Tier. Tier isn't.
I'm not on your side because that motherfucker tried to use John as furniture.
Yeah, you can buy a toilet at the furniture store.
Doesn't make it furniture.
Yes, it does.
It's an appliance.
I've only ever seen toilets at like Lowe's, Home Depot. So I've not seen them at a furniture store.
There's a furniture store near me that has toilets. They're nice toilets.
Okay,
you're fucking dwarf.
Yes, and I've also seen appliances like a fucking refrigerator at a furniture store. That doesn't mean it's furniture.
I actually haven't seen refrigerators at a furniture store.
But
other than mini fridges, those are different.
How is it different?
Mini fridges, you actually get decorative mini fridges in order to shove in like your office, your den, your wherever the fuck. So they're decorative mini fridges. No one goes and says, you know what I really want and what I really need? I need a decorative fridge. No other type of fridge will do. I need a decorative fridge. You're buying them for a different reason.
But yeah, I'm more than comfortable with just staying in my hometown now. I don't have any interest in really going anywhere else.
Well, like I said,
if I never leave my home county again in my life, that's fine with me.
The only way I'm looking at moving is out of where I am now is because obviously I don't plan on staying in my apartment forever. Is that or I somehow win enough in the lotto that I can legitimately move to somewhere else that doesn't have stupid ass property taxes.
Again, if I could up and leave, I'm going somewhere nice and warm all year round where the sun shines bright.
Yeah, we get it. You're like Ranting Monkey to where you're a fucking lizard and you need to be on a rock in the sun.
I am not. Shut up.
See,
yeah,
I would need
absolutely hellish to me.
I would need something. I don't know, somewhere close to like the tropics, but like of a higher elevation, so that way it's not too hot, but it's not also like super cold.
See, I still want somewhere that experiences all four seasons because I like them. I'm not expecting everyone else to as well. I think this is where me and Sanguine agree. We don't necessarily mind the cold.
Sanguine wants the cold. He doesn't.
Yeah,
mind,
I love the
he
cold.
minds it.
I want to go somewhere where, like, if I want enough money in that, or I could do it, I don't want to move somewhere to where I have my own property to hunt.
I want something that is, it's
nice.
warm enough where I can wear like shorts and flip flops year round, but not sweat like a pig because it's like super hot.
Shit, I love man.
I
Let that.
I want like the low 70s with like a light breeze.
At least high 80s with a nice.
Fuck you.
Dude,
See, this is where I'd be more on Sanguine side. That's too hot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look, right now, I can't.
Give me high 60s to low 70s.
As someone who's already spent, granted, it was mostly a month and a half for Africa, but then also spent about 3 years in Okinawa, Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Fuck that shit. I am not getting into a place that has goddamn triple digit heat again, that is also 100% humidity, to where
Yeah.
it feels like it's a reprieve when it starts raining because it sucks up the humidity, and then when it stops raining, it feels like the humidity is going to fucking choke you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come to Oklahoma.
I've been through Oklahoma. But when you're on the fucking ocean, it's terrible.
Don't go
I've
to
told you, it's Florida without the
Minnesota
coastline.
because Minnesota has ridiculous humidity.
I know because I'm in Michigan.
Yeah. Everyone says the land of 10,000 lakes. They undersell it.
And quite literally, well, I'm probably a 15-minute drive from the lake right now. Where I was at my when I lived with my folk, I was about a 5 to 7 minute drive to Lake Michigan.
Oh, if we're talking closest lakes, I'm a quarter of a mile from the closest lake. I'm 3/8 of a mile from the second closest lake.
I just thought of something, guys.
What?
I mean, it's March now, which means like storm season is
For
approaching,
you.
and it's gonna be great. I'm gonna get to watch like all the transplants start freaking out when like a tornado siren goes off.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be so hilarious.
Take plenty of pictures.
It's like the closest body of water I am to is I'm about probably not even a 4-minute drive from the Macatawa River.
Like I remember one time I was
Like I
working at a
said.
convenience store, and this couple came in right as tornado sirens were going off. And I think the husband was like from Texas or something, so like he was kind of used to it, you know. The wife, she must have been from one of the coasts. She was freaking out. She had no clue what was going on. I'm like, what does that mean? It's like, it's a tornado siren. It means a tornado has been spotted somewhere close. Well, what do we do? I was like, well, first we turn on the radio and we listen to the weather report and see how close it is. Well, what if it's really close? It's like, well, you want to get, you know, in either a storm shelter or, I mean, in a room that doesn't have any windows.
Or if you're far enough away from where the tornado is, you pick the opposite direction it's going and drive that way.
Well, yeah, she was thinking like, you know, like Twister, like what if it's like right on top of us? Like, well, then we're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, kiss your ass goodbye, lady. And apparently, she did not like that response. But like, I think it really bugged her, like how nonplussed I was, you know, by the whole like blaring siren right outside the store. So like, why isn't he freaked? I was like, because I live here. This is normal. Like, what do you want me to do? Be a hysterical woman like you?
Nice.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's wrong. I chuckled. I said
Now,
nice.
I
That's
mean,
like I opened the Go ahead.
like last month, or you know, sometime in February or late January. I was up late at night playing video games with Dax, and all of a sudden, like, I feel like a shake. Like, you know, even my lamp kind of starts moving here on my desk. I was like, huh. Like,
Earthquake?
I think that was, I think I was just in an earthquake. He's like, cool. I was like, yeah, okay, that was weird. And then like the next day, I was like, oh yeah, you know, it was an earthquake. You know, like in like the center of the state somewhere. And it's like a 5.1 or a 5.3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always throw people off because my first earthquake was in Afghanistan.
Well, like the thing of it
And
is like,
when I knew it was the earthquake, I was sitting in a computer chair and it was just shaking a little bit.
oh yeah.
Enough to be like, huh, what's going on?
Well, yeah, it only lasts for like a second or two, and it just like, you know, the lamp kind of shimmied. I was like, okay, so that was either an earthquake or the ammunition plant is blowing shit up in the middle of the night now. I don't think they're doing that. I think I was just in an earthquake. But yeah, like I grew up like a few miles away from a literal bomb factory where they blow shit up like 3 times a week.
Wow.
And I
That sounds fun.
my yeah, I mean like like 20 miles away they rattle windows. Middle of the day. When Trump dropped the Moab in Afghanistan, we built that shit down here. I literally had reporters trying to get photos of the ammunition plant, and all they managed to get was like the colonel's residence. He was not happy.
Yeah, I've worked on the plane that dropped that bomb, and had a coworker that was there from my shop.
Well, let me put it
There,
to you
when the bomb was dropped.
Let me put it to you this way: that 5 point whatever magnitude earthquake was far enough away, and the ammunition plant is close enough to where I live, that when they're blowing shit up at the ammunition plant, the aftershocks last longer than the fucking earthquake did for me.
Nice.
As I
Yeah,
said,
they're not just firing off M80s down there, guys.
oh yeah. I'd say
No.
I've also been in a few different mortar attacks. I've also been in the ones to where it's like, we were mortared. I was like, huh, I didn't even wake up for that one.
But yeah, like I mean, I grew up down the street from a literal bomb factory on one side of town, and then like literally a block away from the house I grew up in was train tracks. Having trains going through all hours of the night, tornadoes. Every year. Like, I can sleep through fucking anything.
Speaking of sleep,
The
guys,
only
I'm
reason
saying-
why I knew that earthquake even happened was because I was still awake when it happened.
We can go around for parting words.
I'm fading. I'm sorry. I thought
Oh,
I was
okay.
fading.
Then I will use this one
Well, you
on
go
two
first,
real
then.
quick.
Why art thou a goober?
Nice.
Parting words then. If you're passionate about something, eat sanguine. Don't let sanguine eat you.
If I'm hungry enough, just give up.
I own guns for a reason. And I'm pretty sure I've got several dozen that can take Sanguine down.
You're still made of meat.
And so are you. And
Yes.
bullets hurt just all the same.
First, you have to see sanguine coming. Sanguine is stalking you right now.
I'm rapidly approaching your location.
Well, like the Spanish Inquisition, I'm expecting you.
No one expects that strategy position. No one expects sanguine.
No one expects the sanguine interstition.
But I'm a heavy believer of stay strapped, you get clapped.
Camel?
Remember,
Or actually, Rotten, do you want to say yours?
Always carry a firearm if you're able to. Before any of that, I always recommend a flashlight and a knife because exponentially better to carry and is going to last longer than anything else. That's what I'm going to go with. Carry a flashlight, folks.
And to just kind of springboard of what he said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I have no use for friends that turn as I turn, nod as I nod. I already have my shadow, and it does a far better job of it anyways.
Groucho Marx?
you have such.
Wait, was I right?
Say
Or
again?
was that Twain? I said, was that Groucho Marx?
Neither.
Neither?
It was much, much older. Think
Oh,
Rome.
okay.
Seneca.
Plutarch.
I mean,
I was-
I could
Except
always
Plutarch.
leave on a terrible dad joke that's actually an emo dad joke.
Go ahead.
What kind of
Live
card
long
is there?
enough to have children?
What kind of car does a rich emo drive?
What kind of car?
I'm listening.
A Ferrari. God, that's terrible.
That is
But
terrible. But with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ending stream.